There you
That is
go.
my name. And I
There
was
you go.
muted.
It's great to have you on. I'm Gary. I do our marketing and I kind of coordinate a lot of our webinars, obviously, and trainings that we go across the country with. Nick and team, and you guys will be probably working on some live events in our partner stores, of which we've got 41 of those. So the
Wow.
audience today is, I know, it just keeps growing. I'll be in Secaucus in a couple of days in New York City, and we're opening there. We just did Boise and Portland, and we've got Fort Myers and
Wow. Lots of travel.
all over the place. Yeah, well, you know what? Most importantly, the Sonos product is in our stores, and
Yes.
these stores are, a combination of Snap product. Obviously, it's a one-stop shop, if you will. We're really proud of the fact that there still is brick and mortar stores. You could
Coming
go
back.
there.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's important.
It is. It's part of our footprint. Obviously, our e-com does great, and same with you guys. We have to kind of bridge both these gaps. And conversations like this today, whether wherever you are in the country, the product is in our stores. We represent it, and we're there to help you design. We're learning as well, so that's why I coordinate these weekly webinar series, and of which you guys have been a part of, many times. Where's my buddy Russ today? Anyway, I love him too.
Sorry, I can't feel Russ's shoes. He's too cool for me.
No.
Yeah, Russ actually, and it goes to how cool Russ is. Russ worked in an event for us at Coachella all weekend.
Oh, I'm
sure
he got that gig. I'm sure he
what?
got that gig.
Yeah. So he was at Coachella all weekend doing an event talking about Era 100 and 300.
Awesome.
So he was doing his Russ thing out in the desert.
I love it. All right. So that's here in LA, which I am at. And for any of the audience members, wherever you are, I am recording this today. And Nick's going to give me the slide deck as well. I'll get you guys an email that combines both of those, get you some links and so forth. We're talking about new product today, so I'm really excited about that. Check it out. I did a unboxing of the Sonos product of the 100 and the 300 a couple of weeks ago. That's a little bit more of a touchy-feely thing. You can kind of see the product in my hands and so forth, but really excited. I'm going to turn it over to Nick. Thank you so much, buddy. Great job today. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So I will introduce myself. My name is Nick DeVita. I am the Senior Global Training Manager for Sonos. Me and my team are in charge of educating anyone and everyone that sells, installs, or designs Sonos systems for the professional space globally. Thrilled to be able to talk with you today. Also on the call is Maya Fletcher, who's one of our account managers that covers the Canada area. She's helping us out today. Maya, thank you so much for being on the call.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Maya's going to be able to answer any kind of sales or account management questions that may come up. So she'll be on deck ready to answer any of those. So let's get down to the nitty gritty, get the show on the road, and talk about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to be going over some new products and software that Sonos has released in the previous months, and talking about how these products come to life, not just for music and music consumption in some really fun and interesting ways, but also in the home theater space as well. And then we're going to be talking about how these products can be configured for both music and home theater. So before we kick it off, there's a Q&A section in Zoom. Definitely please add your questions in there as we go. We're going to have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. Happy to answer any of your questions that you have about the products that we talked about today, or really any Sonos question. Happy to answer anything for you. So I love starting off our trainings, kind of just talking about what we do at Sonos. And what we do is create the perfect sound system. No matter how you want to listen to your audio, we want Sonos to fill your home and your rooms and your outdoor spaces with the sound that the artist intended, and listen to the content that you want to listen to. And I mentioned earlier, even if you go back to 2002, when our company was founded, we really wanted to make sure that people could listen to the content they wanted in every room of their home, in any room of your home. And then you, as a custom integrator, have a very very important responsibility as a partner of your clients to not just address the needs that they're coming to you with, but also open up their minds and open up their imagination to how sound can come to life in different spaces of their home. A lot of customers are going to come to the table with asks around their living spaces, their living rooms. A lot of people love adding sound and home theater sound in those spaces, but it's up to you, the integrator, to open up their minds to, hey, how are you listening to music in your kitchen? How are you listening to music in your bedroom, your bathroom, your basement, your backyard, your garage, wherever you have space in your life? Sonos has options to offer those customers, and Sonos can be a great gateway into those conversations. I talked to a number of different integrators that use Sonos as their everyday audio solution, but they also use Sonos as a great pivot tool to go, hey, I'm in your house talking about Sonos. Did you know that Sonos can integrate with lighting? And then you start talking about lighting and shades, and you start talking about home automation, and then all of a sudden that conversation starts spinning, and that job becomes a much more robust job for both you and a more robust experience for your customer. So Sonos is a great product to get into those different rooms that you may not have initially been asked to address when you're speaking with your clients. So our newest products that we are so excited to talk about address audio in ways that we've never done before. And I want to start with a product I'm very excited about, and we call it an Icon Remastered, and that is the Era 100. The Era 100 is an evolution to our Play One and Sonos One product line. So in October of 2013, about a year after I joined Sonos, I've been with Sonos for a little bit, we launched the Play One. And that was a revolutionary time for Sonos. Initially, when Sonos launched, it cost over $1,000 to get a single zone of Sonos for a customer. And by 2013, we now had a product that was in around a $200 price point that allowed you to play audio in any room of your home easily, which allowed us to get into more households, to get into more rooms, and allow our integrators to have an easier conversation getting audio into spaces. Play One was a massive success for us, became one of the best-selling products in Sonos history. And in 2017, we decided to evolve that speaker just a little bit by launching the Sonos One, which had the same drivers, which was a long throw midwoofer and one tweeter. It was the same drivers. We just have changed the color of the product and changed the control aspect on the top of the player. But we also added voice and AirPlay too. So not only did we keep the same great sound, we evolved the look and the design, and we evolved the connectivity. Now, this year, we launched Era 100. Now, Era 100 evolves on all of those same pillars. We evolve in our aesthetics and our design. Slightly larger, sleeker design. We evolved on control, brand new control interface on the top, and we evolved on connectivity. We've added more connectivity features, which we'll get to in just a second. So first off, let's talk about controlling the product. We have a brand new touch interface right on the top of the product. And we actually, and I'll show you this picture here because you can see it a little bit better. We have a volume trough right in the center of the product that you just slide your finger up or down, left or right to turn the volume up or down. Gives you a more precise control than just tapping when it comes to controlling your volume. Just below that, we have a play pause button. And now we actually have a skip back and a skip forward button. Traditionally, on our touch controls, you would have to swipe to go forward or back. This interface actually is much more intuitive. You just know what's forward, you know what's back, and everything works beautifully. So we've revolutionized the control aspect on the top of the unit, and this is something that you're going to see moving forward in our products. Then we wanted to revolutionize how the product sounds. Play One and Sonos One have been great. You're great, especially for the price and the size that they are. But Era 100 takes that to the next level by elongating the product. Actually, physically, it's actually the same width as Sonos One and Play One. But by elongating the product, we're able to make more acoustic innovations on the inside. So first and foremost, if we want to do something better, we got to add more processing power. This is a smart speaker. This is a computer. That processor is massively important in how we reproduce sound. So we actually added a 47% faster processor, giving better sound quality to the brand new drivers that we have on the inside. So that Sonos One and Play One had a long throw midwoofer. We actually have swapped that for a 25% larger midwoofer, providing amazing bass response out of a footprint that's very similar. And up top, instead of having a single tweeter, because Sonos One and Play One were a mono speaker, Era 100 adds a second tweeter, providing you with that extra added horsepower of that faster processor, providing you with stereo sound out of a single unit. It's absolutely incredible. So this supports better sound and higher frequencies than ever before. Better bass, better mids, better highs, all within the Era 100. Now, Era 100 has the same kind of setup flexibility as Play One and Sonos One. So you can customize that experience by adding Era 100s either as a stereo pair, which we'll talk further on later in the training, or you can still add it as rears with a Sonos home theater product. So you can add it as rears with a Ray, a Arc, a Beam Gen 1, a Beam Gen 2. The only products you cannot use this as rears with are our legacy home theater products in Playbar and in Playbase. Now, let's take a look under the hood with the tech specs on this product. As I mentioned earlier, it has two angled tweeters. It also has a larger midwoofer, but with those now 3 drivers, we wanted to make sure that we provide each driver with a Class D amplifier, powering each of those drivers independently, giving you the best sound quality possible. So there's a number of different cool features about Era 100 that I'm going to touch on in just a little bit, because the next product we talk about also have the same features. So let's transition here to a product that I truly believe is one of the most revolutionary products Sonos has ever come out with, and that is the Era 300. Now, the Era 300 is, as I mentioned, is a revolutionary new speaker. It's part of our new generation of Sonos products built for immersive listening. All right, Era 300 is a bold, revolutionary speaker that's built to deliver the best experience for out loud spatial audio listening from a single speaker. This product is really incredible, what it does and how immersive it is. Also, when we're developing a product like this, and really all of our products, we learn deeply with our collaboration with the music industry. We work closely with our community of leading artists and creators to meticulously fine-tune the sound experience of our speakers. Era 300 also serves as a reference speaker for spatial audio content creators, which means as a Sonos customer and a Sonos installer, you know that what you're hearing doesn't just reflect the artist's intent, it's actually what they hear in the studio. We have a number of different phenomenal Grammy and Oscar award-winning artists that sit on our sound consultant board that listen to these speakers and use these speakers in their studios to make sure that their content sounds incredible the way that they want it to sound on speakers that their customers are going to be using in their homes. So I've mentioned immersive sound. What does that mean? Era 300 redefines room filling sound by placing speakers in the very center, in the very heart of their music. It supports music mixed in Dolby Atmos, which delivers unparalleled clarity, depth, height, placing you inside the details of your music. Now, with Era 300 and Dolby Atmos content, Sonos, the Sonos app supports Dolby Atmos content from partners like Amazon Music and Apple Music. So some of the biggest music services that support Dolby Atmos are available on Sonos for you to stream on an Era 300. Now, when it comes to spatial audio, we really wanted to make a product experience that lends to the immersiveness of what Dolby Atmos should be. So what is spatial audio? It's an immersive listening experience for music, film, video, and it's very quickly becoming the primary format for premium sound amongst leading artists, producers, and engineers. So for example, like Apple Music, one of the biggest music services in the world, is now fully adopting spatial audio. You also have your video providers, your Netflix, HBO Max, Amazon, Peacock, Hulu. They're supporting Dolby Atmos as their audio format when streaming. And it provides phenomenal immersive sound. Now, if we take and by the way, Atmos is also available on our Sonos Arc home theater soundbar and our Beam Gen 2 soundbar, but we'll get into home theater in just a little bit. Now, if we take a look at the design of this product, it has this kind of like hourglass shape. Now, all of our marketing materials have an image of this product from the side to really show off this kind of unique physical design of Era 300. But when you have this on a shelf in your home, you're primarily looking at it kind of head on. And this product kind of blends into your home, even though it does look very unique in the images that we're showing you. The reason why we're showing you these images is because we really want to show you what is going on the back side of this product. It actually has a 6-driver design. So it has 5 drivers going around that back ring, and it has 1 driver right there in the front. So it has 2 side firing woofers on either side and 4 waveguides to produce the different projections of sound that Era 300 produces. It has a tweeter right there on the top, and it has a tweeter right there in the front that creates that 6-speaker design. So it gives you amazing height and spatial wide sound and very clear dialogue and clarity to vocals and instruments that are right there in the center of your audio soundstage. Now, you also have the ability of using Era 300 as rear channels with Beam Gen 2 or Sonos Arc. You can only use Era 300 as rear channels with one of our Atmos enabled soundbars like Arc and Beam Gen 2. Now, when you add Era 300 as rears with an Atmos enabled soundbar, you now have the ability of getting 7.1.4 Atmos surround sound. So you're getting height channels from the front with Arc and with Beam, and you're getting height channels with the rear channels with Era 300, creating this incredibly immersive experience for home theater. And all of those products can just be plugged into the wall, an HDMI cable for sound from the TV, and that's it. Now, if you wanted to add a second subwoofer, you absolutely can, but with our configurations, it wouldn't add a 0.2 for sub. It would still be a 0.1 because even though you're doing dual sub, they're not discrete subwoofer channels. It's only one discrete channel. So if we take a look at the inside of Era 300, you can see these waveguides. You see all the nuts and bolts on the inside of the product with the 6 drivers built right in and 6 Class D amplifiers. So Era 100 and Era 300, the name is pretty on point. It is a new era of all-in-one sound from Sonos. And along with all of the acoustic innovations that we just discussed, there's some features on these products that work for both of these. And the first one is going to be its flexibility and how you connect to things. So both Era 100 and 300, they're Sonos speakers. They work on Wi-Fi. So you can stream everything from the Sonos app. You can play music directly from direct control services like Tidal and Spotify and Amazon Music. But you also have the ability of using AirPlay if you're an iOS user. And if you're pretty much an anything user, these are our first plug-in speakers that have Bluetooth. So these have the ability of using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at the same time. Bluetooth button on the back of the product, easy to connect to it. And you have the ability of streaming Bluetooth to the product and sending that Bluetooth signal to every other zone in your Sonos system. Also, it has a USB-C port on the back of the product. That is for USB-C line in with the use of an adapter. We're going to talk about the adapters in a second, but it allows you to line in. So you have line in, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, AirPlay, direct control. It's an incredible amount of ways of connecting into your Sonos system on these 2 products. And just like every other Sonos product, you can stream everything you love. Sonos radio is built in, so you have access to every radio station in the world pretty much, and amazing customized stations from Sonos built right in on your product. And you have the ability of subscribing to Sonos Radio HD if you'd like. And as I mentioned earlier, these products can be paired together in a stereo pair. And I'm going to use stereo pair very lightly because Era 100 is the stereo pair. You can make one a left and one a right, and it's going to give you an amazing stereo sound stage, especially with that added tweeter that both of the speakers have. But when you pair together 2 Era 300s, It's not a stereo pair. It's a spatial pair, because it's not providing you with a stereo soundstage. It's providing you with this massively immersive a wall of Atmos sound. Actually, not even a wall, an umbrella of Atmos sound when it comes to music, when you pair them as a left and a right. So it's kind of interesting, kind of changing our audio terminology wiring, because we've talked about stereo since what, like the 60s. Now we have this new audio format of Dolby Atmos and spatial audio that's providing this extra layer of immersive sound that you get from an Era 300. Now, no matter if a customer's going with an Era 100 or a 300, it's important that the speakers sound as well as they possibly can. Now, as an integrator, there's a conversation that's to be had between you and your client of like, all right, where are we going to place the speakers? Because you as an integrator, you're probably going to go, here's where it's going to sound best. And your customer might go, well, I want it to be where it looks the best. And those two things can kind of be at odds sometimes. So what's really important is, why not make everybody happy? And in order to accomplish that at Sonos, we have our technology called TruePlay. TruePlay is a part of our software on our players and in our app that allows you to tune the speaker to fit the environment it's placed in. So if the speaker is placed in a kind of funky environment, you can actually change the speaker's acoustics to fit the space that it's in, so it always sounds great. Now, since like 2015, 2016, when we launched TruePlay, that was only available to be done, tuning was only available to be done with an iPhone or an iPad, using the microphone built in as the microphone to listen to how the speaker sounds in the room to then make those acoustic adjustments. Now, that hasn't gone away. We call that advanced TruePlay. But with Era 100 and 300, we utilize the microphones built in on the product to listen to how the speaker sounds, to utilize a new feature called Quick TruePlay. Now, Quick TruePlay, as I mentioned, is available on Era 100 and 300. When the microphones are activated, you can enable this with either an iPhone or an Android device. Hooray for Android people. And the speaker will now listen to the environment it's in and apply a tuning by what it heard when it was putting out its test tones. It's very quick to do. And this allows you to have a version of TruePlay if you do not have an iOS device. And you can actually get to choose whether, if you have an iPhone, you get to choose whether you want to implement quick tuning or advanced TruePlay, which is waving your phone up and down. And this is available for both Era 100 and 300. But with 300, we have a new tuning capability that's tuning for the Atmos experience as well. So it's not just a standard stereo tuning like we've done in the past. It's taking an account for the Atmos experience. Now, do know that Era 100 and 300 have quick tuning currently only available for standalone speaker configurations. So a single Era 100 or a single Era 300. We will be, in a future update, we'll be adding quick tuning to stereo pairing and for adding a sub to an Era 100 or 300, but those aren't available today, but they will be in a future software update. So I just talked about microphones. You're thinking to yourself, Nick, you haven't mentioned microphones once yet. Well, guess what? It's microphone time. All right, built in on Era 100 and 300 is an array of microphones. Now, we use these microphones for a couple different reasons. The first one is voice control. Now, voice control is phenomenal for a lot of different reasons, especially our voice control, Sonos voice control. Now, Sonos voice control is one of the best voice controller platforms for controlling a music experience in your home. Sonos voice control is private. It does not use the cloud. Everything is done on board on the speaker, which is a huge benefit for people that are a little iffy about their privacy with a voice-enabled product. And it's like a Sonos controller. I can ask for it to play music. I can group rooms together. I can turn the volume up and down. It's really incredible. And the voice on it is Giancarlo Esposito, who's Moff Gideon on Mandalorian. and Gus Fring on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So it's a voice that you know, you love, and Sonos voice control is incredible and it's built in on our voice speakers. But an extra voice platform, if you want to enable it, is Amazon Alexa. And what's beautiful is you can actually use Sonos voice control for your music, and you can use Amazon Alexa on the same device at the same time. And you can use Amazon Alexa to control your home automation, your lighting, your shades, your climate. Do all the same great stuff you normally use for Amazon Alexa and Sonos voice control built into one product. Now, if you want to enable these, you can. And if you want to briefly disable Sonos voice control or Amazon Alexa, there's a little speech bubble button on the top of both players. You tap that button, that light turns off. There is no voice control. That voice control is paused for however long you want it until you tap that again. Now, what you can do is you can still do quick tuning and all of that, even if you don't want to use voice control. Microphones for the win. Now, if you really do not like microphones and you want to cut the power cord to that microphone, we have a physical switch on the back of each of these products. That little switch right down there at the bottom with the little green there. Green means go. If you flip that switch down, it cuts the power to the microphone entirely, giving you amazing security if you just do not want a microphone to be enabled on that speaker. You can flip that switch and you're good to go. So you have both ways of enabling or disabling microphones or voice services entirely. Now, another responsible thing that we did is how we looked at designing these products. The Era family of Sonos products is the most sustainable products we have ever made. And we're doing so to respond to the challenges in our environment. Now, new innovations help them use less energy when idle, which is fantastic. So this product is not playing music. It's using the bare minimum amount of power to stay on the network. And we used recycled materials in each product. So for example, Era 100 and 300 are both made with post-consumer recycled plastic. And this is probably my favorite thing. We've actually transitioned away from using adhesives when connecting our products together and pivoted to using screws. Now, why is that important? If we needed to fix a Sonos product, you pretty much had to break it because it was glued together in order to try to fix something, and then you broke it. So then you need to fix something in the product, but you just physically broke it. Kind of counterintuitive. So with Era 100 and 300, we switched over to screws, which now allows us to actually take the product apart, replace whatever we need to, and reassemble the product, and it works great. We also went to 100% paper-based packaging, and that makes it even easier, especially as an integrator. If you're one of those very, very kind integrators who disposes of the product boxes for the client, which I think is awesome. Sometimes you're like, how do I throw this away? Like, can I recycle this? Can I not? Like with these new Sonos boxes, you know exactly how to dispose of it, recycle it. It's very, very clear because it doesn't feel like you're holding something that you shouldn't be throwing in the trash. And that's an advancement with our products.
Yeah, I take everybody through those boxes. That's a good thing that you just brought up there. I take each component out and you see exactly where it goes. There's lots of detailed information there, but very well put together. You guys check that out.
Thanks. So now we got these new products. We got to have some new accessories, right? So we have a whole line of accessories that are just for Era 100 and 300, including speaker stands. Era 100 speaker stands, they come in both black and white. And you can buy them as single units or pairs. The MSRP on these, it's $139 per stand for the 100s and $149 per stand for the 300s. You can buy a 2-pack, which would be $269 for the Era 100s and $279 for the Era 300s. Again, this is the cost to your customer. So you can get a beautiful pair of speaker stands that are made perfectly for these products that look like they're an extension of the product for under $300. And we also are going to have wall mounts, or we have wall mounts for 100 and 300 available in both black and white. So they match perfectly with the speakers. 69 a unit, 79 a unit for the 100 and 300 respectively, and 119 and 129 for them as pairs. Error 300, I think they were asking a question, can these be mounted upside down? They can be. What's interesting about these products is, unlike the Sonos 5 or the Sonos 1 before it, those products didn't have thread mounts to screw in. So they had some kind of like wrap or grab for the mounts. These products actually have thread mounts. The 100 has a single thread mount through the bottom, and the 300 has 2 thread mounts on the bottom, which allow for much more flexible mounting positions, because you don't have to fear that this thing is just going to slide off. And lastly, we have our adapters. I mentioned earlier, USB Type-C line in on the back of the unit. When you use these adapters, which are sold separately, you have the ability of getting a line-in adapter, which is great if you want to line in any kind of physical media, preamplified turntable, CD player, computer, anything like that. And we also have an adapter for line-in and Ethernet. Now, you may have noticed that this product does not have an Ethernet port on it. Dun, dun, dun. I know a lot of most Sonos products do. This product does not. Our all-in-one speakers, 9 times out of 10, these products are not being Ethernet connected for most applications. So we wanted to actually include that in the adapter. So if you do want to Ethernet connect it, you can. Also, the line in the 3.5 millimeter is available for people that want to do line in. A lot of customers do not do line in, but USB-C we felt was the best choice possible, because it allowed us to do a single connection that actually opens up an incredible amount of possibilities with how that connection can be used, rather than doing a line in and an Ethernet and any other connection that may come down the line to be used with that USB-C. Line-in adapter, $19 to the customer, and $39 for the Ethernet line-in adapter. Available in both black and white to fit the colors on the product. Now, Era 100 and 300, they're revolutionary products, but products like Sonos 5 are still in the lineup. Sonos 5 still has the best bass response, best stereo reproduction. If you're looking to have a party, Sonos 5, you can't really beat that. And we still have one SL in our portfolio, which is providing sound at one of our lowest price points possible for rooms where you don't want a microphone. Tiny speaker. There you go, one SL. We also have great speakers for portability as well. So we have a product like Sonos Roam, which this time of year, Roam is perfect. This product is on my backpack. It's on my cooler I take to the beach. This is a go-to speaker for when I'm leaving my house. And the Sonos Move is the perfect speaker for your patio, your backyard, by your pool. This thing supplements all of my outdoor sound. Like, I have outdoor speakers. I have Sonos by Sonance speakers and an amp in my backyard, but sometimes I don't want to turn those guys on. I just want to have a small speaker by where I'm working. The Sonos Move is perfect for you. So taking a look at all of the different options that you can create experiences for your clients in different rooms and different applications, there's a tool for every one of these, whether it's a 100 Era 100 in your kid's room, or a Move on the patio, or building a deck with a pair of SBS, Sonos by Sonance speakers with an amp, or you want to do, a killer hi-fi setup with a pair of a stereo pair of Sonos 5s. There's an option for everybody, and it all depends on what your client is looking to accomplish. But that also extends to the home theater space as well. So with our home theater products, we have the ability of creating more customized experiences, and these also can be integrated with our newest products, Era 100 and 300. Now, we've talked a lot about Atmos. And Atmos, when it comes to the home theater space, it's important to understand what connections utilize Atmos. So fiber optic is great, does Dolby 5.1, which normally can blow customers' minds with how amazing it sounds. But if you want to graduate in the quality, if you go with a connection like HDMI ARC or audio return channel, you can get a form of Atmos with Dolby Digital Plus, but you're going to get an even better connection. If you graduate to HDMI EARC, which is going to be on most current televisions and is available with Sonos Arc and Sonos Beam Gen 2, you're going to get better formats of Dolby Atmos. So with those formats, if a product like Sonos Arc is getting that Dolby Atmos signal, it has the ability of creating that spatial experience that we mentioned earlier for music, but for TV, providing amazing sound to the left, to the right, height channels, amazing dialogue, and a sound that is immersing you. And we do that by utilizing what we call phased arrays, sending sound left and right, pushing and pulling, how we use our drivers to create the widest soundstage and the clearest dialogue possible, but also utilizing upward firing drivers on the Arc to bounce that sound off the ceiling and back down to your head. If we take a look at the inside of a product like Sonos Arc, it has 11 drivers. And I really like equating this to the Era 300, where you got these drivers all over the top and the sides and the front that are producing this amazing immersive soundstage. So Arc has Dolby Atmos, but as I mentioned earlier, Beam Gen 2 has Dolby Atmos as well. And we use psychoacoustics to create a virtual upward firing driver to give you this feeling of upward firing sound. Now, when it comes to Sonos Ray is all about just getting sound on a television. As an integrator, it's all about like, how do I make sure every TV in this house has something on it? Array is going to be the solution to make sure that you're getting a sound bar on that bedroom TV, that kitchen TV. You're making sure that there's a sound bar on anything. And if you want to round out these experiences, adding subwoofers are key. We have Sub Gen 3, which you could use a single sub or a dual sub. And then we also have Sub Mini, which gives you no excuse for not adding a subwoofer onto a setup. You need to make sure that there's at least a Sub Mini on every Sonos Zone that you have that has the capability of doing so. So between Sub Mini and Sub Gen 3, you got options. Speaking of options, building that home theater experience, it's all about starting with, what are you going to put up front? You're going to do Array? Cool. On a TV this big, probably not, but cool, you got Array. You want to do a Beam Gen 2? Amazing. Fun fact, Beam Gen 2 might be my favorite Sonos product. Big fan of it. If you want to jump up to maybe a Sonos amp and a pair of architectural speakers, which for this channel is a very strong possibility that that's where you're going. And then we have Sonos Arc, which is going to give you that amazing upward firing Atmos experience. Then how are you going to add bass? Again, as I mentioned earlier, you always got to add a subwoofer. So are you going to add a Sub Mini? Bare minimum. Are you going to add a single sub? Could be a single sub. You want to do dual sub? You could do dual sub. It's all up to you. Now, if you want to add surround sound, you could do a pair of Sonos 1SLs. That's great. You can do a pair of Era 100s, which is going to give you a more spacious surround sound experience. Or you can do Sonos 5s, which is bananas. It's kind of crazy that you do those as rears, but it's pretty fun. Or you could do an amp and a pair of in-ceiling speakers, which I know is very, very popular with the custom install world. Or you could do quite possibly the best home theater experience from Sonos, which is the full-blown Atmos home theater surround sound, which is Era 300s as rears, creating that upward firing, overarching rear channel sound, and using an Arc, which is doing the same thing from the front, and then doing two subs, doing dual sub, adding that extra bass. This is an incredible experience. So when it comes to the home theater space, you have an amazing amount of possibilities of making sure the customer is getting an awesome home theater experience, regardless of their budget, regardless of their spatial requirements or their design requirements. There's a solution for everybody to allow you to maximize the kind of experience you create for your clients. So the key takeaways with Era 100 and 300: revolutionary sound, an upgrade in sound across the board. Whether we're really reinventing an icon with the Era 100 and making that compact speaker sound unlike it ever has before, or going in a brand new direction with spatial audio out of a standalone all-in-one speaker with Era 300. Connectivity, and not only just doing Wi-Fi, but Bluetooth connectivity on a standalone plug-in speaker. AirPlay 2, direct control, line in with that USB-C, and making sure all of that sounds good with either an Android or an iOS device with quick tuning and advanced TruePlay tuning. And lastly, responsible and innovative design with a design that is actually blending into your home, looking fantastic and not being obtrusive while looking like something that could stay in your home for a decade. That is the Era product lineup and all of the different fun configurations that you can do for your clients. Thank you very much for your time. I am so excited to answer your questions about what we just talked about or anything else Sonos related. I'm happy to answer them for you.
Thank you so much, Nick. That was amazing. I love seeing you in your field and your expertise. So we've got 2 questions. Can't wait for you to answer them. You literally just answered this one, but let's do it again for the people in the back. When used in a home theater setup paired with a soundbar that supports Dolby Atmos, what is the perceptible advantage of the Era 100 or 300 as rear channels rather than a Play 1 or 1?
That's a really great question. So Era 100 is actually going to provide you with a dramatically better rear channel sound than a Play 1 or a Sonos 1. The angled tweeters, when positioned correctly, is now going to send sound further on your side and further around you. So how it wraps sound around you actually is way more immersive than Sonos 1 or Play 1, which is really just shooting sound directly at your head. Now, Era 300, that's a completely different story. It's shooting sound up, over, around you, and is actually decoding that additional 2 channels of Atmos rear sound, which you wouldn't get with an Era 100, Play 1, or Sonos 1. It's really incredible with how it works, but it's a dramatically different audio experience with both 100 and 300. But do remember, 300 can only be used with ARC and Beam Gen 2. Era 100 can only be used with AMP, ARC, Beam Gen 1, Beam Gen 2, and Ray. It cannot be used with Playbar or Playbase, which we haven't made those in probably 3 or 4 years. So,
Hey, I got a question. So with the 300 in the back, let's say,
yeah,
and you have a living room that has, a dining room adjacent to that, and there's open space back there, it's adjusting, right? It acknowledges that additional space rather than in the back against a wall, right? Or
yeah,
how does it deal with that?
TruePlay tuning is going to help you
yeah.
there. Yeah, TruePlay tuning is going to listen to how those speakers are responding and adjust that sound accordingly. But the good thing is, remember, 300 is not shooting sound behind itself. It's kind of shooting up and out. So if you have those right up behind your couch and you have an open space behind you, it's really focused on sending that sound into kind of your listening orb rather than
that
shooting
bubble.
it behind.
Yeah,
your bub. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, it also auto true plays, because while I was out in the field doing listening sessions with dealers like yourself, we would do an unveiling like Vanna White and have it in a box. And the sound would change about 30 seconds later.
It doesn't do auto tuning. If you have it as a standalone unit, you can quick tune it, and it would then retune itself. But the kind of always listening auto true play is actually only available on Roam and on Move.
There you go. Thank you. There was a second question, which is great. Is there any energy savings with adding the Ethernet input to maintain network connectivity?
I do not think so, Eric. I don't think there's any kind of energy change. There may be. If it is, it may be indistinguishable.
This is an interesting one. Why can't you make a port be surround rears with a secondary amp?
I mean, the very matter of fact answer is that the port's not processing any video content. It's not processing any video input. So it's not decoding any kind of audio format.
Hope that helps, Josh.
I get the ask though. Like, yeah, you want to use amp to be wireless rears with a third-party amplifier. I get it. But unfortunately, our products just aren't set up that way. Keep the questions coming. We got a great group of good number of people on here. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions, whether it's about Era 100, 300, or any other fun Sonos topic.
Well, in the meantime, I'll do a shameless plug. You guys are helping us sponsor our May 4th event, which is kind of an outdoor theme thing at all 41 locations. So
amazing.
We're giving, yeah, did you know that? And you know how much stuff we're giving away? No, there are some prizes for that, but no, I'm urging everybody come down. You guys have been seeing the marketing at all the Snap One partner stores, at all the 40 locations that we're doing an outdoor event. It's called, I think we're called, it's May 4th. It's Quattro de Mayo, okay? Which could be connotative. I know. Well, we didn't go with, okay, if you look at the marketing, we kind of just went with the taco truck kind of thing. I don't know why we didn't totally immerse ourselves in the obvious, but we didn't. But you know what? Okay. Every store is giving away a roam. So that's 40 of those. So yeah, lots of good stuff.
Amazing.
I want you to come in, register. Let's have the outdoors conversation. Let's talk about what jobs you have. It's definitely the timely discussion right now. So we've got lots of products lined up for that, but primarily our Sonos. I want to show it off and get you guys bidding on some jobs. You got some more questions there?
We do. From Anthony Gonzalez. Is there any chance of a port with an HDMI ARC?
I can't comment on anything that is or is not in the product roadmap, but I'll take that feedback and provide that to our team, which was one of the best parts of a recent restructure that we did at Sonos, where we kind of restructured our go-to-market teams. We created a Sonos professional team entirely. It's a massive part of our business, and with that, we have product developers that are only focused on this channel now. So when I get great recommendations, product ideas, I actually go directly to someone who's making that decision. So we love hearing your feedback and going into the fun stuff that's coming down the line.
And another great question from Eric Brown. What are the main differences with the Sonos subs since low frequency is not readily localized?
So Sonos sub, and there's multiple generations of Sonos sub, but the acoustics are almost identical. It's really just its connectivity slightly different. But sub Gen 3 in the Sonos sub is actually the #1 selling subwoofer in the history of audio. And it accomplished that about 5 years ago. So it became the #1 selling sub 5 years ago, and it keeps having a 5-year. I mean, for 5 years, it's just stayed in the lead. The Sonos sub is absolutely incredible. It has 0 vibration, so it has 2 force canceling drivers, so you can play that at full blast and put a full martini glass sitting on top of it, and that water's not going anywhere. So it's a subwoofer that provides insanely deep bass. It's like a kick in the chest without cabinet rattle. So you can lay that down, slide it. I have 2 of them underneath my couch. So I can watch a movie and it's not vibrating my whole house, but I feel it in my chest. So if you want the best subwoofer performance possible, definitely for its price point, Sonos sub, incredible. Yeah. Sub mini actually is a far cheaper price point with the same 0 cabinet wrap, the same anti-vibration, but it's going to be at a lower price point, but it does not have the same kind of volume output as sub Gen 3. It actually, 2 sub minis, if you were to, you can't do a dual sub configuration with sub mini, but if you were to acoustically, it's actually 2 of them is not the same as a single sub Gen 3. So the volume output, you would probably need like 2.5 to 3 sub minis to get to the volume output of sub Gen 3. But again, not every customer in every configuration needs a sub Gen 3. So a sub mini can be perfect. Like I have some Era 100 on my desk, and I'm not having a party at my desk. Like, so I have a sub mini underneath my desk that's paired to these, and it just rounds out my sound. It handles those lower frequencies. And our subwoofers are unique in when you bond them to a Sonos speaker, it's not just, oh, and the sub plays boom, 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 and the speaker plays what it plays. They actually bond together as a single unit, and the speakers offload the low, mids, and lows to the subwoofer. Then the speaker has the same horsepower it had previously to produce like 2/3 of the frequencies. So your highs and your mids get louder and better and clearer when you add a Sonos sub. So the dynamics of adding a Sonos sub, any of the subs, to our products, it creates an unbelievable audio experience.
Yeah, it is. It is night and day. Hey, tell us really quick. So you have two subgens underneath your couch. Did you do that for aesthetic reasons? We want to know.
Why are they underneath my couch?
Yeah, I mean, because it could have been like, I don't want them out, or is that like some secret sauce?
Yeah, so not secret sauce. The sub is dual ported, so there's a port on the top and the port on the bottom. I have 2 young children, and I was like, they won't do this, but they actually would put toys in the bottom port. So I thought, until they kind of grow out of that, I'm gonna lie them on their sides and slide them underneath the couch. And I have an L-shaped couch, so I kind of have them on kind of 2/3 of the way through either side. Sounds fantastic. But I think when the time comes, I'm probably going to take one out from underneath my couch and put it towards the front of the room and probably balance the sound out a little bit better. But that's the beauty of Sonos. They plug into the wall. So you place them where it's best for the client, for the sound, for the room. It's up to you.
Nice.
And if any of you work with designers, it's actually a common way they hide the sound is by putting the subs under the couch until whoever can bring it back out and disperse the sound.
It's a very flexible subwoofer. Looks like I've got another question from Eric. When using a Sonos Ray or Beam as a computer speaker, can it continue to play Sonos music while also playing the occasional audio from the computer? That's a great question, Eric. With Sonos, it's going to either play the line in or TV sound, or it's going to stream music. So it can't do both simultaneously. For a computer setup, I would go line in and play the audio on my computer. That way it's playing all the audio from my computer. So whether it's the music I'm listening to or the occasional notification, it would all happen. So that's what I would recommend. For my Era 100 stereo pair, I have one of the USB-C line-ins plugged into my computer, and then it's just a line in, and it works great. Loving the questions, like when it gets weird.
So is there a direct
variables.
Is there a direct line? Thank you. Is there a direct line to you called professional team? Is that something that is married to our CI guys in a sense for support or anything else? Or
for customer support, we have been extensively training our support team to better understand the needs of a custom installer, and which I think has been kind of accelerating the support, the effectiveness of our support. When it comes to our team, the education team, we have an email address is webinar-support@sonos.com, where it's a great place to kind of answer one-off questions, kind of the stuff that we're answering here. It's not like, I have this problem with this system, here's my like, that's not us. But when it comes to, can I do this? Is this a thing that like Sonos can do? Like that's, those are questions that we can definitely handle.
Got it. All right, guys. How we looking? Want to give them 5 minutes back, or we have a question here?
I answered the question. It was about using computer audio to play everywhere in the house. It's a great thing about Sonos is you can have music everywhere through grouping. So Eric, if you have any more questions, please reach out to your account manager. And I believe, Nick, we still use an email to reach out to trainers if there's a specific question.
Yeah. If you have like these kind of edge case questions, Eric, definitely reach out to webinar-support@sonos.com. I know probably almost everybody on this call is most likely either most likely not a direct dealer from Sonos. You're probably buying your Sonos products directly from Snap One, which is great. So you may not have an account manager. So if you have a kind of a use case question or something like that, definitely reach out to Webinar Dash Support, and we're happy to answer your questions.
And it could be both, Nick, in terms
Yeah,
of where
absolutely.
they're buying their product. Yeah, we're very familiar with that shared demographic, if you will,
Of
whether
course.
they're going direct or whether they're, they still would have an account at the partner stores as well. And to
Yeah.
further that, might even have an account at the Snap One e-com. So there are places and there's pathways. Today is a little bit more isolated for the partner stores, but hey, we're all in this together in a sense. So
Absolutely.
yeah, especially with this launch. So that's why we put this on, and we're doing that special in the outdoors and stuff, and love talking to 100 and 300 guys. Go and watch my video of taking that stuff out of the boxes. It's kind of cool just seeing it in real life. Not that you guys didn't demo it that way, but it does kind of help. We talked about the May 4th event. I want to see you all out there. And you know what? Sonos, you guys are going to be dropping by. So your reps are out in the field as well. I'll be seeing some of you guys out on our event in about, a few weeks away.
Yeah, not that far. Years
Time
moving
is
quick.
flying.
Just got to get Russ in out of Coachella and get him back in the field, get him
Good
back
luck.
to work, and we'll see him around.
We're trying. We're trying. He likes being out there a little bit too much. He's loving it out there. Loving it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I did record this session. I'll get the slide deck from you, Nick.
Yeah.
Send that my way.
I'll get something together for you. Yeah.
And we talked about a couple of email addresses. I'll get those in there as well, guys. Everybody, thank you so much. Each and every week, I have the best of the best on our show, on our weekly webinar series. We are the Snap One Partner Stores, 41 strong, and another one opening up this week. Guys, I love the partnership. Let's continue to install great audio, right? All
Thanks,
right, guys.
everybody.
We'll see you soon.